Hello, I'm Jim Plamondon, and I'm going to talk about increasing profits by increasing prices. You may have seen this graph that shows that Cambodia's rice exports are rising, but profits are falling. We know that profits equals prices minus costs. That means there's two ways to increase profits. One is by reducing costs, and the other is by increasing prices. I'm going to talk about the second. These are some of the prices of rice products on Amazon.com, the largest online retailer in the United States. The best-selling jasmine rice product is Dynasty Jasmine Rice, selling for $3 per kilo. It sells so much we can think of that as being the break-even price. Ellis Stancil's gourmet rice, a kind of jasmine rice grown in Louisiana, sells for $16 a kilo, which is $13 more than the break-even price. Beneshi Gourmet Wild Rice is not a jasmine rice, and it sells for $30 per kilo, 10 times the break-even price. Yamaguchi Prefecture Hitomabore rice sells for $42 per kilo. A 5-kilo bag costs over $200, not counting $89 in international shipping from Japan, bringing the total for the 5-kilo bag to $300, or about $60 per kilo. That's a lot of money per kilo for rice. It shows that there's a lot of high upper bound. The prices of rice can get pretty high on Amazon.com. And these are not the highest prices. There's prices of $50 a kilo, and in fact over $100 a kilo for specialty rice products. Well, we know that profit equals price minus costs, but volume is also a factor. In fact, at the 5th Cambodian Rice Forum in early January of 2016, the Cambodian Rice Federation showed this chart that showed that if you want higher volume, you need to sacrifice with lower margins. But that's only true for commodities. The trick for a commodity vendor is to de-commoditize their product, in this case to de-commoditize jasmine rice. Well, let's look at some examples of de-commoditization. In 2001, one commodity was the MP3 player, the digital music player. And Apple de-commoditized the music player by offering a combination of the iPod player and the iTunes music service. That combination of products delivered so much value to the consumer that they were willing to pay a much higher margin to get that combination. Similarly, in 2007, Apple introduced the combination of the Apple iPhone and the iOS operating system, which together delivered so much value to the consumer that they were willing to pay a very high premium to get that combination. As a result of mastering this notion of de-commoditization, Apple has increased its profits by a factor of 4,100% over the last 10 years, making Apple the world's most profitable company. Now, this shows that de-commoditization can deliver higher volumes and higher margins. So what we need to de-commoditize jasmine rice is a combination of two benefits. Well, one benefit that we can already offer is the world's best rice, and this is well known within the Cambodian jasmine rice community, although it is not well known by American consumers. So first, marketing to the American consumer that Cambodian jasmine rice has indeed won the world's best rice award 3 years in a row is one step towards getting higher prices. But one thing alone is not enough. The other issue is consistency. The consistency of jasmine rice is quite poor. And I don't mean from container to container, I mean over time. Everyone in the jasmine rice industry and those from Southeast Asia know that jasmine rice tastes best right after its harvest. And after that, the quality declines very quickly. In fact, By the time the rice reaches the American consumer, the quality has already declined by half. It is only 50% of what it was after harvest. And 6 months after harvest, the rice is essentially flavorless. But if the rice is frozen in Cambodia, shipped to Cambodia in a refrigerated container, a frozen container, and then stored in refrigerated storage all year, then it reaches the American consumer with 100% of its harvest fresh flavor and fragrance. That's twice the fragrance and flavor it would have had under typical conditions. Freezing the rice doubles the quality as far as the American consumer is concerned. And it maintains that doubled quality all year by keeping the rice in frozen storage. Freezing jasmine rice solves the quality problem and the consistency problem. Well, because the quality and consistency of jasmine rice in America and in Europe has been quite low until now and variable, people have not been willing to pay a high price for it because they weren't sure of the quality, they weren't sure of the consistency. But by freezing Cambodian jasmine rice, we can solve both the quality and the consistency problem, and thus increase the value to the consumer considerably. But isn't freezing rice expensive? Well, yes, but it doesn't matter. If we sell jasmine rice for $20 a kilo, which, as we've seen from previous slides, is a reasonable price, then a single container is worth $400,000 to the consumer. And even if our operating expenses are as high as $250,000, that still leaves $150,000 profit per container, which compares very favorably to the $0 profit per container that the industry is currently getting after debt service. And currently the industry is trying to make up those losses in volume. Well, how much volume will we get? Well, we won't know until we try. My estimate, based on my experience in the electronics and consumer products industry in America, is that we'll sell about 4 containers worth in the first year, which is $600,000 in profit, and 600 containers, which is $90 million in profit, by year 9. And that's roughly doubling every year, which we can do because the quality and consistency are so much higher. It's like frozen peas, which have essentially displaced dry peas from the American consumer market. In years 1 through 3, most of that profit, in fact probably all of it, will have to be reinvested to accelerate growth. But after year 4, a lot of that profit will go into the investors' pockets. So, do you want to earn more profits? Do you want to earn Apple-like profits and get the status and profitability of Apple? If so, well, send me email. Akun.